We've gotten so much evidence now, and yet we're still not able to definitively prove the existence of the Bigfoot. We've seen pictures, very clear pictures. With today's technology, it's actually possible. We've heard reports of biologists and government agencies that have actually asked people to please keep quiet about what took place on or around their property. We've made inquiries asking about specific reports or incidents, and we're always pushed aside. We understand the extent of how the Freedom of Information Act can work for us. It can work in our favor to help us bring more information to the surface, to give us a better understanding about what's out there. And yet it's always lost. It's always pushed aside. The bureaucracy, the whole process of doing so. There is a cover-up. To what extent, we don't know. But obviously, it's something that's a lot larger than what we might think. Mass chaos, pandemonium, panic. Imagine reading the front page of the newspaper. Monster lurks in cottage country. Well, it might not necessarily be a monster. In fact, I think it wants to remain elusive. It's only around humans because it needs to be. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps for its own sustenance. It needs to sustain its life, and in order to do so, it might need the presence of humans. It might need to break into cabins and steal things. It might need to take wood. It might need to snatch that dog off the leash and carry it off into the bush. For whatever reason, we don't know. We've seen pictures of an animal that appears to be a Bigfoot holding on to a dog. It was taken in Canada. And we've seen pictures of a tall, hairy figure, which could stand 7, 8, 9 feet tall. Very clear, dark hair, matted, almost a snout-like nose, deep, dark eye sockets. Further proof of their existence lies in the reports that we've received in the past from growling, grunts, tree knocks, rocks the size of bowling balls being hurled at people. And how do we explain that? Is it kids playing a prank? No. Some of these locations are so remote that kids would probably fear traveling to and through these places. In fact, I myself am fearful of some of the areas that we've been to, and I will only go there with another individual or group of people. These are all events that have taken place in the past, and you can't pass them off as being nothing. It's just coincidence. We are at the point now where we are on the verge of a discovery that will blow away everything that we thought existed on this planet. The concept, the idea of another species that is parallel to that of the human race. It's mind-blowing. Something that is smart enough to the point where it has remained elusive for as long as it has, and yet in circumstances will come forward and every so often be viewed by a human, be heard by a human, be sensed by a human. Still raising the question, just what is it out there? There is something there. I have this weird feeling about me. Infrasound. How do you explain that? Is it from a Bigfoot? We don't know. The feeling of being watched. Looking around you, feeling uneasy, feeling like there's something there looking at you. How do you explain that? We can't. Hearing these growls, these screams, these grunts. You're an outdoorsman. You've heard it all before. You've had a cottage for years, and yet you've never heard anything like that before. How do you explain that? So many things have happened that we cannot explain. And it's all leading and pointing in one direction. There is another presence, an entity, a creature that lurks out there. And all it wants to do is survive and adapt. Stay away from humans, but also learn about humans. Perhaps a sense of curiosity for its own education and for its own good. As a group, we mean them no harm. Connect with it, learn from it. A mutually beneficial journey. And that's what it's all about, the journey.